Hi, I'm Whitney McCorkle, and I'm going to be talking about utilizing sign language, especially with students or clients with autism spectrum disorders. So, sign language can be used with anyone, but it's especially used with those who are nonverbal, who cannot communicate vocally, or who struggle to communicate vocally. They can, but sometimes it takes them a longer time to form the words. It can also be used with any student with autism or anybody who can form signs or anybody who can see you making the signs. A lot of times I use it as a receptive communication just to kind of pair that with maybe a command or a demand I've already given instead of doing it vocal again. Like if I've asked a client to sit, they haven't sit, I give them their one visual and then maybe we'll move to a partial physical. So that's also how it can be used to communicate receptively. So it's not just for their communication expressively, but receptively as well. And so that's why I really like it. It's very diverse. And a lot of times we start by pairing simple signs with something they really, really want. It's something that motivates them, something that they will likely want to use again. So typically the first sign I work on is more or help, depending on where they're at. And most of the clients I've worked with love tickles. So I'll begin by tickling them, they'll get really happy and excited, and I'll stop and I'll say, do you want more tickles? More. And they will sign more to me and I'll tickle again. So we'll work on that and then we'll move on to something different to generalize it. So maybe I'm holding their cookies and I'll give them a cookie and I'll say, do you want more cookies? More. And then they give me the sign for more and I give them cookies. To teach it, it's a lot of rewarding and positive reinforcement. So it's beginning off by a lot of manding signs. So when they pair that with a mand, you reward it with exactly what they want. So they'll begin to pair that with, I'm getting what I want by using this type of communication, but also pairing that this sign means I'm getting something more. Then we'll move on to something else like help. When you see them start to get frustrated, a lot of them have a hard time asking for help. A lot of my clients do. So maybe they're putting on their shoe or they're trying to put a game up in the box, and when I see them get to that frustrated, you can ask for help, and then they'll show me the help sign and I'll begin to help them. And we'll do that for the same type of activity a couple times and then move on to another activity. So another thing is then we go to things that they like, maybe cookie or cracker. And then we go to identifying people, mommy and daddy, and we use it to identify people. We use it when I give them a card, and I'll say it could be a card of maybe milk or water. And so we'll work on that expressive and receptive identification of objects. And they start to build independence with that. I have my clients sitting on another table working on something while I'm monitoring them, and I know they'll need help and they'll come up to me and show me the help sign. I'm like, oh, you need help. And you always want to make sure you pair that verbal with it and immediately reinforce what they're asking for so they know that they're using the right sign. I just really like this, and it's very beneficial to students with autism spectrum disorders, especially those who cannot communicate verbally. And I like the diversity of it. I like that you don't need anything else except for what you have your hands. You don't need a device. So or you don't need a textbook, even though I like those a lot. Sometimes we're outside and we may have left our device on the porch, or we may have left our device on the playground, on the other side of the playground, instead of having to run a couple of feet to get it, we can immediately give that sign. So it's a great way to communicate, especially immediately when you really need it. And if you want to research more about sign, or if you have any questions, let me know.